I'll tell you what is interesting, Steve. I didn't know that much about it. Autism.
Okay. Oh, good. There's some more entertaining stuff on XFM 104.9. Just to cheer up people. Go on, and what? Go on.
No, right. Have you heard about it, Steve? What
autism? It scares me to death when he comes up, when he touches on a serious subject. We've been talking about wheeling a dead pope round, the Chinese don't age well, and ginger people are hated. And now we're going to touch on a really, I mean, no, my heart's in my throat. Go on, Carl, then tell me your insights to autism.
Right, well, there was this, again, Channel 4 coming up with some good stuff at the moment, right? It might have been Channel 5. But what's the name?
It's the attention span I like!
It's these people who, they've got like this autism thing going on.
Yeah.
And, they sort of take in a lot of information, they get sort of they get so into it that they know everything about that subject and what have you, right? And there was this lad who, he knew everything, right, about EastEnders.
Right.
He sort of, the cameraman was saying to him, so, you know, why EastEnders and that? And he said, oh, I don't know, I just like it. And he said, I remember when I first watched it was a Thursday, it was 5 to 8, Pauline Fowler walked in, she had a pink jumper on, she said, alright, love. And he remembers everything from that moment on.
Yeah.
Right, and everything. Which is great, but then, the way the programme was making out, it was almost like they were saying it's a disability.
Right.
When in a way, it's more like a superpower.
Sure. Like Rain Man.
Well, if you can take
it's Rain Man. No, he has special autistic powers.
Oh God!
We were sent for Rain Man.
I don't know what to do.
So I don't know what to do. So he would be a great contestant mastermind. So autistic mastermind. He'd be
what I'm saying is, don't be watching EastEnders though. Sort of, why didn't they give him an encyclopedia and say, get into that?
Sure.
That'll be useful.
Yeah.
Keep him away from EastEnders. Wasting his time there. But I don't think it is a disability.
No.
Yeah, there are other things, and they're not, it's also autism is a matter of degrees, from what I know, and I'm sorry to have to do this, but I feel that I have to at least be the voice of reason, as ill-educated as I am on the subject, but I think, one, there's degrees of autism, I think some are higher performance than others, there's other issues with it, it's not they're just got good memories, they don't go around doing tricks for people, because they can remember stuff, there are other issues with it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they seemed a bit...
You watched the programme, what did you learn? That he knows when Pauline Fowler came in?
Yeah, I mean, there was other bits where they couldn't control her emotions and stuff.
Oh, that other little bit, yeah.
But the main bit of it was he can soak up information and stuff, and I'm just saying, it didn't seem really bad. Do you know what I mean? There's disabilities where people say that's a bad disability. It's like how people say about,
this is brilliant. This is just like, this is amazing to be in a room with this man. It's incredible. You just wind him up and listen to what comes out. And I'm gonna sit back now. I'm not gonna defend you or explain anything. Just go on and tell me about the other disabilities that are worse.
No, what I mean is, how people can sometimes easily get mixed up. How people are scared of, like, a cyclop. When at the end of the day, he's got a disability. A bloke
Who's scared of a cyclop?
No, it's
apart from Jason and his Argonauts. Where's this Cyclop that you're scared of?
No, I'm just saying in history and in books and that.
No, not in history. History happened.
Yeah. But
what are you thinking of? You're mixing history with Greek mythology and Roman mythology and every other type of mythology. What do you mean there wasn't really a giant Cyclop that went round picking up ships and throwing them around? That's not history, Carl. Do you think Batman's history?
No, but this was, it was ages ago, wasn't it, when we were sort of
No, I'm not saying it didn't happen ages ago, I'm saying it didn't happen.
Well, he might have done. There's no, I mean, what's so ridiculous about a fellow with one eye?
In the middle of his head, and he's big and scary and lives in a cave.
Why is he scary? Because he's got, if he had 8 eyes, I'd be scared of him. At the end of the day, they've got a disability. Oh, we'll talk about it in a bit. One of the things that they told us was that Planet of the Apes was filmed in Lanzarote.
Right, okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
A bit of it. Well, does it? Does it make sense?
Well, what do you mean,
well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Okay, anyway.
No, I mean, if they wanted to show sort of an barren, sort of post-apocalyptic sort of subject, choose where you went on holiday.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, but when we were there, well, he took us to this sort of beach, and I said, is this where they did it? And he was like, yeah. I said, what, right there, yeah. And I watched it, and I couldn't see where I was.
Yeah, you know that if you watch a film from 1968 and you've been to the same place,
the
you're
new
not
one.
going to feature.
The
They're
new
not
one.
going to see you in the back walking along the beach.
It's a new one, new Planet of the Apes.
Oh, the
right?
recent Planet of the Apes,
Yeah,
you mean.
that's what they said. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So I thought I'd sort of.
Now
do
that sounds a little bit more far-fetched. I'd have thought that was probably a lot in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
anyway, is this the current Planet of the Apes or the old one you've done?
Current Planet of the Apes.
This is the recent one.
All right. There'll be a question at the end of it, so listen on that.
Is this entertaining to anyone, this? I mean, just take the last 4 minutes of conversation.
But seriously, Rick, who cares?
I don't.
Do you?
No.
I don't.
DVD's selling well.
Exactly, what do I care?
Right, go on then.
All right. So Planet of the Apes. Question at the end of it. Listen and win some stuff. All right.
Hey, where am I? What is this place?
Hang on a minute, I'll have a look. According to the Lanzarote guide, we've been dropped off at the volcano bit. Apparently there's 36 volcanoes here to be seen.
I hope you don't mind my saying, but this is a waste of time.
What do you mean? Don't know why they need 36 volcanoes. Just keep one. Fill the rest in. Like a car park or something. Excuse me, guide. Why's the bus drops us off here? What's so special about this place?
Well, according to our holy writings, that is where creation began, where the Almighty breathed life in the time before time.
It's amazing that, isn't it? All this has been stood here for years and years. What about the coffee shop there? Is that old, is it?
Well,
nothing. You're out to rip us off. I bet it's about £4 for a coffee there. Always ripping people off. That's what annoys me with these trips. You get us in the middle of nowhere, we die in a thirst. I'm not able to do without. The reason I've come here, I believe this is where they did Planet of the Apes, innit? Love monkeys. Especially the ones in Planet of the Apes, because they talk and that.
Talking monkeys can't exist.
You're joking, aren't you? Of course they can. Getting up to all sorts of stuff. I read about a monkey the other day who worked on the railway. Right, there was another one about a chimp that did a bank job and went off to Spain to sort of...
Shut up!
Alright.
What is that?
Little monkey fella. It's come from that little coffee shop. It's been serving coffee. Now that is worth paying £4 for.
No, you're teasing him.
I'm not teasing it. It's working, isn't it? It's serving the... We want some coffee. Get us some coffee. I've heard about this. You can buy coffee that's been sort of hand-picked by monkeys. It's like Coffee Mate, except it's more sort of coffee primate. Yeah. Hello, little fella. We want coffee.
What do you mean, we?
You're gonna have a coffee, aren't you? What else are you gonna do? Go and look at another 35 volcanoes? I'm staying here. I'm having a monkey coffee. It's brilliant.
You find this amusing?
Jesus, it's a talking monkey. Right, mate. Have a couple of coffees.
Don't start now. We're off duty. I'm starving.
What do you mean you're off duty? Have you bananas later? Just get us a couple of... Alright, I understand that you're tired and you've probably been on your hands all day. Just forget the coffee. You go and get some lunch. After you've got some coach, you lazy ass.
You damn human!
Powerful.
Lovely. Excellent. So, what's the question?
If you've been listening to the whole show, how many volcanoes do I think's on the island of Lanzarote?
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have it wrong, what I've been saying, but it's roughly around that.
Yeah, so what have you been saying?
I'll tell you something, I've been meaning to ask you this for a while, because I know you're a very well-informed man. You
Yeah,
are very
political and sort of liberal and that.
Yeah. How does Chinese work?
With the language?
I can't figure it out.
No one knows.
I can't figure it out.
No one knows.
It's not like any other language.
No, it's not. It's not.
You know.
Either spoken or written down. Well, it's not written down, it's...
Well, when it's written down, it basically looks like kind of little children's drawings of those little paper houses that Chinese people live in.
Well, that's what
You know what I mean?
it
It's sort of-
is. It's
And it's loads of them, it's hundreds of them from what I can make
But I
out.
mean, even French have a go. It's not even the French got right words, but they've got some of
They
the
make
right
their trying to
letters,
sound like English.
and they're going, "Oh, hello, how are you?" And it's sort of they're trying to do the words, but there's just something wrong. I think it's like a speech impediment. I think.
Exactly, yeah. Germans are similar.
Yeah, Germans are going, how are you? And they're trying to do the words.
trying to
They're
speak
just
English, but it's
whereas
just coming out
Chinese,
of it
no effort.
It's just, for want of a better word, it sounds to me, when I listen to Chinese, it sounds like gobbledygook.
That is a dialect. I think that's the main dialect. That, Mandarin, and orangutan. But I mean,
I can't, but seriously, I mean, I can't figure it out. I've got no grasp of how, because it doesn't seem to relate to anything I've
Wait,
ever
there's not
heard.
real words, because there are sentences. Like, you know, we have a word, if we said, a gentleman sits by the stream of fish.
I've said it often.
Yeah, we use all the different words to each one of those words, so we've got a word for each of them.
Yeah,
They haven't, they've just got, I think it's like a triangle with a line through it.
Right.
So, which can get confusing, because, you know.
Yeah, so the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
That's just, that's what, I think that's like a little paper house with a feather on top.
Right.
But if we got...
Personally, this is what I would love to do. I want to use the fact that we're on the radio to answer these questions possibly.
Yeah, tell me about other cultures.
I would love to speak to a Chinese person.
Yeah.
A Chinaman.
Well, or a Chinaman woman.
A Chinaman woman, I thought it's fine. But I'd just like to speak to someone, ideally perhaps, you know, a professor of Chinese.
Or someone who works in a chip shop, but someone who was actually born in Chinaland.
Someone born in Chinaland.
Someone born in Chinaland, a Chinaman or a Chinaman woman, just to talk us through exactly what they're going on about.
Exactly, and it's just because I'm very ill-informed. I've only really seen Chinese people in kung fu movies, you know. So
Chinatown?
Chinatown, walking through Chinatown.
As we've said before.
Not really a town.
Not really a town.
More of a novelty street.
More of a novelty street, a slippery novelty street.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
because I remember watching Kung Fu a lot. They always used to speak, they always speak very slowly, don't they?
They do.
They're very kind of mysterious.
Yeah.
Inscrutable.
They never really they are unscrutable.
You cannot screw a Chinaman.
You cannot screw a Chinaman or a Chinaman
They
woman.
are unscrutable, they are non-scrutable.
Yeah.
If I was to go out in the street now and try and scroot a Chinaman...
You'd have no chance.
I would not, because they are inscrutable.
You could not scroot a Chinaman for love nor money.
They are anti-scrutable.
Yeah, yeah.
I could possibly scroot a Chinese woman.
Well, I don't think you'd have any luck. You've had no luck.
But anyway, if you are a Chinaman or a Chinaman woman who can just tell us basically how it works, how would you teach us the basics of Chinese if we were going to go to China and we wanted to interact? Where would we start? What would be the first words we would say? How would we say them? How would we write them? Please help.
This is going to run and run.
What's the number, Carl?
08700 800 1234.
See, proper normal talking there from Karl Pilkington.
But while I was at my parents' house, they often, you know, they keep clippings of things, you know, if we've been mentioned in the papers, they like to keep a record of them and stuff, because, I like to show it to my grandparents, you know, and keep fully abreast of things. And, I managed to find a couple of them. This is what, I don't know if you've heard this, Carl, it's, for people who don't realise, Carl was making a couple of little 3-minute TV projects recently that were on Channel 4. And in the Sunday Times, someone's written a letter about Carl to the Sunday Times.
Wow.
They can send in comments and views on things they've seen, read, heard.
Oh, excellent.
And this is what someone wrote to the Sunday Times. Who is Karl Pilkington? And why have I just wasted 5 minutes of my life listening to some of his cretinous thoughts on Channel 4? He asked, why are there so many dinosaurs on display in museums? Quotes, couldn't they just choose the best one and just show that? He summed it all up by deciding that we know too much. Somebody clearly doesn't know enough to know that this is a complete waste of airtime, showing no wit, intellect or creativity. That's from Wendy Robinson in Berkshire.
You've got to have your critics. You know what I mean?
You've got to have your critics.
Of course you have. If everybody liked what you did, then you're not doing the right thing.
She wasted 5 minutes, and they were 3-minute wonders, so it must have felt...
Yeah.
2/3 as long again.
But think how angry she must have been to have bothered writing this letter to the Sunday Times.
Well, that's good.
I mean,
though.
you
It's made
really
a
must
decent-
have...
It's all about getting people thinking. That's what I always say to you. As long as I'm getting people thinking about what I've said, she remembered what I said.
But what views did you put out in these short films which you feel people perhaps should be talking about, discussing, digesting, thinking about?
Just stuff that was in my head that day when I was filming them.
Yeah.
Is it in your head now?
Some of it is. Now you've remembered me what I said.
Now you've what?
Now you've sort of told me what I said in that one. Yeah, I remember saying that.
Yeah.
And I stick by it.
Remember him some other stuff?
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, right? This, if I don't know if Wendy's, listen to this. But,
Almost certainly not.
But listen, right? I was saying about the museums, right, and how they're big and everything, and they've
Brilliant.
got dinosaurs all over the shop. I read that in that museum, they've got something like 7 million bits of stuff in there, right? Now, when I spend 2 hours in somewhere, just show me the good stuff. Don't be saying we've got 7 million bits. Because there was a fella who opened it, right? I did a bit of research on the museum. Fella who opened the museum up.
And what was his name?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, does it?
What museum was it?
It was the London one.
Oh, the London one, yeah, okay.
So he's in there, and he's collecting all this, bits of stuff.
What stuff?
Just whatever's knocking about at that
Oh,
time.
right, okay.
It seemed like
You have researched it.
He never chucked anything away. He's like, I won't put it in the bin, pop it on the shelf.
Okay,
right? So
yeah.
he's put everything on a shelf in
right,
this
yeah.
museum. Then, as time
I
went
think you're
on,
going into too much detail, but just give us the gist of it.
No, but all I'm saying is, he keeps everything, and if you keep everything, sometimes it'll be good stuff, right? And a lot of the stuff was going missing, the good stuff. But people who set these museums up are just as crafty.
What?
The fella who found Tutankhamun, he was pocketing all sorts of fingers and stuff in his pockets on the way out. That had rings on them and stuff. So all I'm saying is, why is she having a go?
But
She's
hang on,
learned
wait,
something.
what's that got to do with someone pocket? I don't understand your point.
Because she's sort of moaning at me, going, "Don't have a go at the museum and the dinosaurs." But
No,
everybody,
she's
saying
having a
that
go
you're
at
an
your
idiot.
fatuous point.
Yeah, you're absolutely uneducated,
But, I mean,
stupid point that
I-
you got TV time to talk absolute shit, if I could
that's not
paraphrase
my fault,
Wendy.
is it? That's not my fault. If someone says, "Do you want me to do a little program?" and you can do what I want, I went and did what I did. Free speech, innit?
But we just gave you the chance then to defend yourself, and you just confirmed Wendy's point 1,000 times over. What was all this waffle about people nicking stuff? What's that got to do with anything?
Because she's having a go at me. I didn't nick
But she's
anything.
having a go at you for talking nonsense that's of no consequence, which is what you just did
What
then.
sort of nonsense?
But what was your point?
Oh, all right, then we'll watch Wendy's little program when that goes out. Let's see what she's got to talk about. Sick of her. When did Wimbledon finish?
A couple of weeks ago.
Right. Found myself sat there, right? I'm not having a go. I know we've stopped Cheeky Freak of the Week and all that, right? So I'm not going to be having a go.
Christ,
I sat there.
I'm scared.
No, I'm not having a go. You've always got to remember that.
Go
I'm
on, just get on with it. Get on with it. I'll apologise after.
I'm just saying, watching Wimbledon, it wasn't, one of the major games. It was little fellas in a wheelchair having a game.
Little fellas in a wheelchair.
Right.
But for me, I mean, great. They're doing a sport and everything. Don't put it on the telly.
What was up with it?
There wasn't like a rally going on. No, do you know what I mean? Do you know normally, like with the well, not to Enman, but with some of the other with some of the other players and that, they're playing for ages, aren't they? It's like, oh, who's going to win this and that?
Yeah.
None of that. It was just like, hit it, net.
Oh Christ! Oh God! I don't know what to do.
And people were like sat there watching it as well when they've got other games going on in there. That's what I couldn't understand. If you've paid your money to get in,
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, good on them if they. Do you know what I mean? But it would have been.
And they
know,
all start first in the marathon.
I just thought it would have, give them a game of swing ball or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I understand.
Oh God!
Yeah.
There's never anything on.
XFM in the community.
Did
Brilliant.
anyone confirm, actually, I had an email earlier,
Swing ball.
No, I'm not having a go though. Tell them. This is what I'm like, aren't I?
Sorry, this is recording you as well. What do you mean I'm not having to go tell them? Do you, think you
but
just said
do you
that
know
to
what I
me?
mean?
That do you think you haven't got a microphone? You just said to London, keep wheelchair sport off the telly because they can't get a rally going. You called them little fellas in wheelchairs. What? And I meant to go, what Carl meant was... What? I mean, what? They can hear you as well.
Yeah, I know. It's just that they might think that I'm having a go, and I don't want them to. That's why I stopped Cheeky Freak of the Week, because some people got the wrong end of the stick
Right.
and what have you. So,
What, that it was funny that a woman was born with deformed legs? They might think you were taking the mick.
Anyway, I just was wondering if anyone could confirm. We had an email earlier, I forget who sent it in, but thanks very much indeed for it. They said that the Paralympics began this week, and apparently during the opening show, the entertainment was provided by Riverdance. Now, I don't know if that, I can neither confirm nor deny that, but it does seem rather tactless. Let's play a tune. Ricky Gervais.
Don't put my name to this last link. Don't put my name to this last link.
Ricky.Gervais, xfm.co.uk.
Oh.
Magic, Virgin, if you're listening, we are available probably sooner than we thought.
what was that illness years ago? Right, there was a couple of lads at our school
Oh, yeah.
had really big heads
Right.
and webbed fingers.
And webbed fingers.
And
Sorry, wait. Were that? Hold on. Did you find him in a pond? Did they used to be little tadpoles?
no,
Carl, you're not
seriously.
confusing your past with an old episode of
No,
Doctor
no.
Who, are you?
What were they called? These two?
Oh, I didn't mix with them.
Right.
It was just like... Of
course not.
There was nobody thought anything of it at school. 'Cause
No,
it was like,
sure.
You used to it.
Yeah, it's the North.
There goes the creature from the Black Lagoon again.
yeah. He's late.
Brilliant at trigonometry.
He's late for double maths.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I didn't think anything of
What
it.
is it called? What is the disease called where two fellas, are they
Not even related.
rubbish?
Not related.
Were you near a nuclear power station when you were growing up?
Yeah,
You weren't really?
yeah.
God, this explains so much.
This has got
Oh,
a
I
bit
don't
heavy.
think that's it.
Hey, talking of enormous heads,
Yeah.
you were at the Pop Idol final, weren't you, Rick? You went
Yeah.
down there just because obviously Rick's a huge fan of Pop Idol. He wanted to be there. He wanted to
Yeah.
give his support.
Quite seriously, there was no irony there. We were
Yeah,
having
he
a
genuinely
great
is a
time.
fan of it. And he was. You sort of had photos taken with various people,
Yeah,
didn't
of
you? Because
course.
you were a bit drunk and you wanted to have a
Yeah.
memento of it. And it's obviously
Yeah.
a picture of you with Fat Man Rick Waller.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the best one is a picture of Ricky and his girlfriend with Dr. Fox,
Yeah.
whose head
It's twice
is
the size of
of
mine.
any other head. It's quite remarkable. I
He's
don't know how
like
they
a
make it.
barrel. He's a lovely bloke, and he was really nice to meet him and everything. But he looks like an immaculate tan, and he's always happy, and he's
It
just
looks
really
on the
good.
picture. It looks like someone you might see in a carnival who's built a huge papier-mâché head, and he
Yeah.
just we're like Frank Sidebottom, and just started walking on the road. It's just incredible.
Dr. Fox didn't used to go to your school, did he? He used to hang around with a mate. They were great swimmers. They were brilliant swimmers. Oh, God. Carl had to leave early last week, but, you can stay to the end this week, mate, or...
Yeah.
You don't need another holiday.
Oh, he started already.
I mean, you
Steve's
know.
made you look like a bit of a twat already, and it's
No.
only 1:05.
But the only reason you don't go on holiday is because you have to spend money.
Oh, and he's gone straight back!
Well.
He's gone straight back!
I can't come back to that.
Oh,
It's just dynamite. It's just absolute. That was.
Although the
searing
last
and cut to
holiday,
the chase.
last holiday Steve had, he sort of found a third world country so he could live like a king for a week. It was Cuba, wasn't it?
Going to Cuba, amazing. You can almost rule the place. If it weren't for Castro, I'd have been in charge. Kind of cash I was flashing around. They do anything for $1 over there. It's extraordinary, literally. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh.
Definitely. And I went to Kenya before that.
So he thought to the prostitute, said no. You were going.
Yeah, well, it was $2. I mean, I'm not made of money.
Do you have a good holiday, Carl?
Yeah, it was alright. It's alright. Went down to Cornwall.
Now
Tell
you're
you
going
what,
to the monkey
some odd
sanctuary.
people down there, Steve.
Well, don't look at me. I'm not from Cornwall.
Well, you're from that sort of area.
Well, not really, but never mind.
Genetically, he means.
Right.
They're weird.
Well, you must have slotted right in.
What are they weird? What do they look like?
Just all sort of odd people. A lot of old people, but not just old, sort of messed up old.
What do you mean messed up old? You can't just say that. There's
There was a woman with a funny neck.
Okay, in what way was it funny?
Why did she have a funny neck? If you were writing an essay, you wouldn't say there was this woman with a funny neck. How would you describe it?
She sort of had her head like pointed down all the time. Like that.
Don't do it. It's his radio.
No, but just for you, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Walking about like
Yeah, okay, right. So brilliant.
that. I don't know. I was saying to Suzanne, what happened? You know, what do you think?
Because Suzanne knows everything. That's the good thing about her being with you. You just ask her what happened to her, and Suzanne goes, "Carl, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been here before."
Suzanne, your girlfriend, or mummy as you call her.
Oh, sparks are flying.
Yeah. I got a little bit of chocolate. Can you just lick a tissue and wipe it off?
Oh,
Well, she said it might have been like because back in the olden days they carried stuff on the.
the olden
What
days.
do you mean the olden days?
This woman was probably what, 50?
No, she looked about 70.
Yeah.
But like I do on Cheeky Freak of the Week, right? I always turn it round and we get like something good out
Something
of it.
positive, yeah.
I said to Suzanne, I bet she finds a lot of money.
Always staring at the ground, yeah.
Oh. How did baguettes come about? If this is going to be someone cooked a loaf a bit wrong and said, I can still make a sandwich out of it, I'm going to hit you.
No.
Go on then.
Right. Napoleon, when he was at war and that with Russia,
1812, yeah.
yeah, all his soldiers were like, you know, not used to the cold weather and that. So they said, take some clothes in your bag with you because it's going to be
Chilly.
nippy out there. So they put all the clothes in the bag.
Sure.
Did what they were told.
Oh.
It's Napoleon, for Christ's sake.
No room for any food.
You're joking.
So
Couldn't they make some sort of like sandwich?
no, it wouldn't fit because of all the clothes. You had to take extra gear.
Sure.
for them. So anyway, he
I
said,
can see where
know.
this is going. I'll be honest.
Is there a baguette-shaped gap left in their holdall?
before. Let's make some bread that you can fit down your trouser leg.
What?
That's not true! No, it's not,
I
Carl!
read it in Euston train station. I was waiting to go back to Manchester.
Where did you read
What,
this? It was-
scrawled on the wall in graffiti?
Yeah.
Do you know the
Was it also meet me here for cock fun at 12 o'clock?
The upper crust sandwich shop, Euston station. It's on the wall.
What do you mean it's on the wall?
Do you know how it says, like, sail on at Dixon's, whatever?
Yeah.
Next to that, there was, like, a bit of information. Once you've read the stuff on Dixon's,
Baguette information.
there was a big thing about the history of the baguette. I read it and I thought,
No, we gotta make a sandwich we can spit down our trouser leg.
But how can you march and fight with a huge piece of bread down your train?
Although it would be intimidating, you see them coming, you go, sacre bleu, look at the size of them. They're big fellas. Well,
Blimey. I can't ever feel that could be a practical joke at your expense.
yeah.
didn't do that.
Well, the Earl of
Do you ever
Sandwich...
question anything you read? If it's
No.
printed up, is that,
Yeah.
like, fact for you then?
Well, it's not funny. I mean, if they were trying to be funny, it's like, it's not, is it? So it's information.
Have you heard us? Things sometimes want to be funny when they're not.
That's exactly what happened with the sandwich. The Earl of Sandwich wanted something he could fit down his pants. And it was those triangle cut sandwiches wrapped in cling film were perfect. You might be right. You might be right.
I am.
Because the Cornish pasty, so they could drop it down the mines, isn't it?
Is it?
They wrapped it up they wrapped up like meat and vegetables in pastry, and they sort of crimped it, and it was like and they dropped it down the mine, so. Yeah, that's how that came about.
And bagels were originally made so that people could play hoopla, but then eat afterwards. I don't know if you're aware of that. That is true, Carl.
Well, anyway.
Call my bluff. Is one of them true?
Yeah.
They're all true.
They're all true.
Yeah.
Tell your kids that when you have them.
Yeah.
You know, if they're still alive in a million years.
Well, it might be true. Can someone confirm that baguette fact that it was so Napoleon could stick it down
Not
his
him.
trousers? Not him, his
men.
soldiers.
His men.
Yeah.
Fascinating information. Fascinating bread information, Carl.
Well, we've had lots of emails. People, obviously, we inflamed and provoked
Well,
about
actually, I have to say,
the
Rick-
Cornish pasty. I've got a couple of amendments to that. The crusty bit, you know, is actually as a handle, because obviously the miners had dirty hands, and they'd eat all the stuff in the pasty, and they'd be left with this sort of crust, and they could throw that away. Also, someone told us that at one end was a apple, so you have a little sweet as well.
Little dessert.
So there you go.
You noticed how, like, over the years we've been doing this, you know, way back when we started XFM, no one ever contributes when we ask about the music, when
No.
we ask about hip-hop,
No.
or their, you know, opinions on that,
No.
anything important.
No.
But start talking about pasties,
Yeah.
we've had about 5 phone calls.
Yeah, and someone phoned up to confirm. They used to work for Upper Crust, and basically Carl got all excited. So it is true. She went, well, I don't know if it's true. I've read the same sign you did, Carl.
Interestingly, there's an email here that says, which basically offers a history of the baguette,
Yeah.
and talks about after the revolution, the government decreed that all of France must eat the same bread, and it was up to the bakers to bake this bread of equality. And then Napoleon kind of made sure it was a particular. He kind of set in.
Yeah, obviously on the bread you can eat anything you find in the garden: frogs, snails, bits of horse,
But the
squid.
the interesting thing is, Rick, that there's no mention of sticking it down your trousers whilst going to war.
The French have tried to keep that secret for over 100
It
years,
was only
Steve.
the upper crust people. that
Yeah,
used to,
yeah, nearly
yeah,
200 years, that is a top secret. Somehow Euston Station Upper Crust got hold of a document, left behind in an old sea chest, possibly Napoleon's, could have been Josephine's. Unfortunately, jotted it down. He's kicking himself now. Oh, Secretary, I cannot believe I left a note. If he talked like that.
He did.
He did that, yeah, he talked English, but in a very funny French accent.
Because your diary doesn't just mention. I mean, okay, yes, it does. It fails to mention any disasters in London because we haven't had any. But it doesn't mention any. It doesn't mention any world events. It doesn't mention wars in Iraq,
But I don't
terrorism.
need
It doesn't
to
mention
now.
anything.
But that's all being wrote about anyway. If you're saying there's a museum that's keeping everything, there's loads of other books on that. Who's looking at the fella whose skulls fell off?
What?
We see. It's interesting, isn't it?
What do you mean the fellow whose skulls fell off?
Well, that's what happened the other week, so I wrote about it.
What?
A fella's skull has fell off.
What do you mean his skull has fell off?
It's something to do with circulation.
But what do you mean his skull fell
Well,
off?
it's in the diary. We
But
might
how
look
can
at
a
the diary.
skull fall off? Because it's surrounded by tissue and it's got a brain. How can just his skull? How can it detach itself from all the stuff surrounding
He
it?
mislaid all his dreams.
But all I'm saying is that's not getting a look in.
No, because it's not significant or probably true.
Good point, Steve.
I don't.
All
know
right. Well,
what's
let me
anything
just. I'll
based
just.
on.
I'll just consult the diary quickly and find the moment with the man whose skull fell off. Oh, here we are. Yeah. Looks like the world's fattest man is having an operation to get rid of some of the fat.
Yeah.
He has to have an iron bed because that's the only thing that can hold his weight. There's also a man whose skull has fell out. He's in hospital somewhere. I hate that. It would make me panic. The hospital is busy with people coming in to look at their head.
What are you talking about there? That tells us nothing. Right, it's impossible for a skull to fall out.
How are scholars in 10,000 years going to be... What are they going to decipher from that?
They can sort of go.
There's not enough incident detail.
But how did his skull fall out?
Circulation problems.
But answer the question. How did his skull fall out? Fall out of what?
He was at home, and I don't know if he was combing his hair or something, but it come off.
What did?
His skull.
What do you mean, his skull? Do you know what the skull is?
It's a part of the head.
Well, no, it's the structure of the head. It's the bone. Do you mean the top of the skull?
This is only useful if you have all the salient facts. Then it would be of interest to us. We could.
But I couldn't take that on. I'm busy. I'm not going to start looking into stuff in depth. Just get the details.
God. You're such an idiot.
Just wondering, Rick, what your opinions are, what your thoughts are on Britney Spears.
Liked a couple. Bit bored. I think she's panicking a little bit. I think she's a little bit desperate with all this Madonna stuff.
Yeah, all the kind of lesbian
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know. Yeah, she's alright. I've got nothing against the girl.
Well, I think it was in Hot Tickets magazine.
Sure.
It's free with the Evening Standard.
Yeah.
I might get some free Evening Standards now. I've plugged that.
Yeah.
Just reading in there that, I don't know if it's still going to happen, but apparently she was going to do a little cheeky appearance at GAY.
GAY?
In London. And, obviously I was quite excited because I'm a Spears fan.
Do you know that's what that spells, don't you?
GAY?
Yeah.
Gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it is a gay club.
Oh, sure,
This is what I was ascertaining from the article.
Oh, because they've called it what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And apparently she was gonna be previewing some of her new album live on stage at GA1, and that's an intimate venue. Normally you'd have to see someone like Spears, probably at Wembley Arena, something like that. I'm thinking I'm a Spears fan, get up a couple of the gang together.
Yeah.
So
the lads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cruise down there.
Yeah.
But then I read on in the article that apparently the doorman at GAY were only gonna let in regulars. And the way they were going to ascertain if you were a regular was by asking a series of questions at the door.
What, testing if you're really...
Now, I don't know if the questions would be about the interior of GAY.
Or the interior of someone else.
Yeah. Or just general kind of...
Like, what, do you reckon you'd have passed the...
Well, that's what I was wondering.
So you'd have had to pretend to be...
GAY.
GAY to get in to see Spears. Now
Can you say gay on the radio?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But
now, there's irony, isn't it? So you're pretending to be gay to get into a club to see a bird that you like.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little quick test.
Right.
Shall I? Alright. Alright, what's your name, mate?
Paolo.
Alright, Paolo.
Yeah.
You haven't done a lot with your hair, you just sort of let it grow out. I mean, would you be putting product on a bit later? Because, I mean, you don't look very, you look sort of quite
masculine,
Yeah, well, sort of like you didn't care, like you have no care about how you look, like you're
normally it would be shaved. Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We would say normally that looks about, 3 months growth there. Why haven't you...
I've been ill.
Nothing serious?
Nothing serious.
Okay.
No, that's why I let it grow. So it's grown.
Okay. Yeah. So what time would you normally be going out then, Paolo?
Normally I'd go out about I'd go out about 8-ish.
8 o'clock in the evening you go?
No.
Because that sounds a bit early, that's what...
No, I'd go out about 3 in the morning normally.
Right, so I thought it was... Yeah, okay, right, so that's right, yeah. Where'd you go, down sort of...
Down
Compton Street for a coffee and then onto GAY with your little shaved head.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're doing fine.
Pretty gay.
Sounding pretty good. Can I just ask you one final question?
20 bender points?
It's 20 bender points, so I'm just going to let you in.
Okay,
I'm just going to tell the guys to let you in. But I've got one more question.
Yeah.
Do you prefer knobs or tits, Paolo?
Knobs.
Knobs, you love knobs, do you?
Oh,
Can't get enough knobs. So you hate tits, I assume?
Loathe them.
You hate tits, do you?
Yes.
Okay. What? Even Liza Minnelli's?
I don't know what to say. I love hers.
But not in a straight way.
Straight way. In a gay
So
way.
okay. So you love knobs more than tits, right? Okay.
I love knobs.
In you go.
Thanks very much.
You know Brittany's on, do you?
Oh, she is so sexy.
Oh.
See, that's what would give me away. It'd be like the Great Escape.
It's just the last.
Yeah.
You just. Well, I mean, I think you're probably a bit bi.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
but I mean, go in anyway.
Thanks very much.
Okay, the drinks are quite expensive.
Oh, I thought so.
Pop your shirt off, will you?
Woke up at 9:55 a.m. Soon as I woke up, I looked at Suzanne and she looked at me. I said, "Did I tell you about?"
I just think of him opening his eyes and looking at
Oh, okay, alright. Okay, so he opens his eyes, he looks at Suzanne, she looks at him. What question, Rick, do you think he immediately asks his girlfriend?
Go on.
What question do you think? Have a quick guess.
Am I dreaming?
I woke up, I said to my girlfriend, "Did I tell you about..." I woke up, I looked at Suzanne, she looked at me. I said, "Did I tell you about the immune system?" Did I tell you about the immune system? Suzanne started laughing. I said, "It's amazing." She said, "Not now." Springing into action, he zips up, his eyes are like... Did I tell you about the immune system? Oh, shut up, Carl. Put the kettle on.
Oh, God! Oh, fucking hell!
Talking about little gay fellas and that.
Yeah.
Northern Line, beach, underground tube thing.
Not the boy band.
Right. Apparently, on a Saturday night, late, I don't know what that is, what time late is in the sort of gay community, as we've discussed before. But apparently, the last carriage on the Northern Line, they all get in there.
What do you mean they all get in there?
They sort of take over the last carriage of the Northern Line on a Saturday night.
Right.
And it's like the gay carriage.
Right. And what exactly do? They just travel about on the Northern Line?
No, just have a chat and that, and like, just,
stick on the communards.
How do you know?
Someone told me.
See, this, I mean, I'm glad you've informed me, because it wouldn't bother me, but I feel I should be told about these things, because I'm likely to stumble onto that carriage by mistake, and it's not that it'd be a problem, it's just I might feel a little uncomfortable if there's a lot of people in, you know, the black, the black leather gear and the moustaches, the hats.
I mean, to be quite honest, they'd be annoyed.
Of course.
Because they'd be expecting something a little bit, you know.
What do you mean?
Well.
They're good looking, most of them.
Sure.
No, they are good looking fellas though, aren't they?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
They're just a lot of the gay, you know, they look after themselves and that and look good. Keep themselves.
Some of them work out, yeah.
You see, this is the problem I have, because there's a lot of areas in London and elsewhere in the country where there's a sort of, you know, it's a gay thing, you know, it's a gay public toilet, or I don't mean it's gay public, it's not like a legal thing.
It means a cottage.
But it's a cottage, whatever. I mean, I remember being, in Bristol once doing some...
You're confused when I said it's a cottage. Yeah. That's a term for where gay people go in toilets to sort of meet and greet each other.
Well, I
shake hands.
I was at the public library in Bristol once doing some studies from a sixth form, and I think the toilet was closed in the library. I was dying for the toilet, and I popped out, and there was a public toilet behind the library. I thought, I can't believe my luck. Dashed down there. It was about 6-ish in the evening. I was working late. I was studying hard. I went in there, and I swear to God, I saw two fellas. With the...
Is that unusual? Or?
Well, no, they were up to some hijinks.
What they're sort of like...
Do you know the thing that struck me?
What?
One of them had bright red underpants.
What do you mean?
They were actually doing, you know, they were having some kind of, you know, they were having relations. They weren't even in a cubicle, they were out in the...
Where were the underpants?
What, around his ankles?
No!
Yes, I swear to God, I'm not going to make this up.
What are you?
I don't know, like, how old you are in the sixth form? 16 or whatever, 17?
Yeah, and what did you do?
Well, I actually
said... Well, you just joined in, what else did you do? You might as well,
I actually swore, I said, oh, F me. And then I went, oh, no, don't. No, I did, I swear to God. I did. I went, oh, it's me. No, don't, because I was panicked and I ran out. And as I was walking out, a guy was coming in. I went, oh, hang on, mate. And then I thought I better not tell him. I let him find out for himself. He might be going there to join in. He might have got a call. Come down. We're going crazy on each other's ass. Come down.
It's a conspiracy of Bristol.
But what
conspiracy.
What annoyed me
my
was,
lover. What a bit of cop.
What angered me, Rick, was the fact that I wasn't notified, that there was not, I didn't know
there was no sign.
And afterwards, I spoke to other people about it, and they said, oh, it's a famous gay haunt. But what annoys me is I feel that they should put an ad in the local press,
Yeah.
a big paper, like once a week, like, you know, when they recall cars if they're damaged or there's a fault, or Currys might bring back stuff if they're sort of faulty goods, they say recall and we'll give you money back. They
What
should
do
put
you
an ad in, the
suggest?
gay community should put an advert in that just says, these are the hot spots, this is where you're likely to find us doing some stuff. If you're not gay and you might feel uncomfortable, avoid them. And just list them, or little pictures, or, you know, a map or something. Anything, because like the gay tube thing, I don't know that's
Fun. 1, 2, 3. Railway cuttings.
well, not that. It's more of a kind of. It's more of a sort of social awareness thing.
Yeah.
So people, you know, don't feel uncomfortable and.
But they don't want it exactly to be like sort of walking under a neon sign.
Why? It's legal.
yeah, big arrows. Oh, as if.
What do you mean? What's wrong with that?
Because, well, it's actually a public place. I don't think cottaging is
Well,
strictly
I don't
legal.
think the internet's it. But they don't even have to specify what they're going to do.
Some people, they're not. Some of them aren't. I don't think it's
But they
probably
advertise
seen gays, is
GAY.
it? Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, but it's not the people that go out and they say I'm gay and I like Barbara Streisand. It's presumably the sort of people that do that are people that either aren't quite out yet, or do you know what I mean? Or they're doing having a quick one away to their wife and kids.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know completely how it works, but I'm sure there probably isn't a place like free bumming here tonight.
No, there is kind of.
What?
Because I was walking home one night through Soho, right? Just 'cause that's the way I have to go, not 'cause I choose. You know what I mean? I wasn't going there on that, right? So I'm walking through, right? And I was handed like a card, which was like a gay event, right? Now that's a bit weird, isn't it? That straight away he's presuming that because I'm there that time of night.
Well, and you've got a shaved head, and you sort of like, you know, you sort of like quite look after yourself, and you've got some nice clothes.
Yeah, but it's still you
And you look
can't
like a
really
little bit
presume.
rough, don't you, from Manchester?
It was
You look like a northern rent boy who comes down to
well,
stand outside McDonald's.
But
And,
the card was rubbish, right?
what do you mean?
Had this fella on it, right? All sort of greased up and that.
What would you look?
Just having a look what he'd handed me and that.
Right.
Just having a look. Picture of him, sort of sailor's hat on, tan body, like just his arse out like that, and rubbish slogan, right? The best bum in W1.
Is bum there a noun or like a verb?
What do you mean?
Well, to bum, is it like get the best bum you've ever had, or he had the best bum?
I think it's just
I don't
like
suppose you asked.
No.
I don't suppose you called the number to check. What do you mean exactly by this? Does it mean you've got a great arse?
Do
'Cause
you
think
mean I
mine's
will
good.
be well bummed, or do you mean you've just got a
Alright,
good?
come on now, let's.
Can I just a final point about because I asked my friend how it all works up on the Heath because I live in Hampstead Heath, near Hampstead, and I was where I didn't want to go walking and get myself involved in anything.
How can you get involved?
No, again, I didn't want to walk.
Sort of like,
by.
is it like, oh, yeah, believe it. I couldn't say no. Oh, my wrist, it's knackered. What do you mean? Well, I was there for about 2 hours. I must have gone about 43 of them. But, you know, I didn't like to say no, because they were so pleased to see me. Oh,
Well, it's
God.
not so much the fear of that. It's not.
Good skiing practice. I was doing 2 at a time for a little while.
It's not the fear of that so much as the fact that again you don't want to gate crash someone else's party. You don't, do you know what I mean?
No.
You don't, if there was a straight couple having sex, you'd want. Oh, I'm sorry, and you'd want to avoid that area.
Yeah,
because you,
of course.
But I find so someone told me how it works, and apparently you just go and like sit on a bench or something, and then a guy just sits on the bench and they just look at each other. There's not really anything said. It's just a kind of nice evening or whatever. You know, I guess it's like 2 in the morning or whatever, and then they go off in the bushes and ding dong. But it's like I don't know how that culture's developed.
I love this programme.
But why can't that be the case with women? That would be amazing. You just go out to the park at 1 in the morning. You just sit on a bench. You just
Be like a scene from Gigi.
Exactly.
Where he's just walking along with the perambulator.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly. But that would just be a joy if there was none of this formality. You've got to talk to them, buy them dinner.
Oh,
You know,
you're joking.
romance.
Oh no!
Just this kind of informal thing. It'd
So
be
what?
great.
So what would you do then? You go up to a woman and go, "Come on,
Yeah.
let's stop mucking around."
We know why we're both sat on this bench.
There's a nice bush over there.
Yeah.
Let's have a bit.
Yeah, and then she'd go, "Yeah, great, thanks. I'm killing some time before I, pop into town.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect. Thanks. You make my weekend."
So you're jealous of gays as well
In
as
a
me.
sense. In a way.
What do you think, Carl?
Let's put a track on.
Why? You getting scared now?
You brought it up.
Is it getting too close to the bone, so to speak?
Can I tell you one of the best presents I ever had? Without doubt, all I ever wanted was a go-kart. This is true. I was like, sort of 5, 6, 7, and I eventually for Christmas. I wasn't sort of spoiled in the sense that I got pocket money, but I always got what I wanted at Christmas eventually, because working class mothers, they'd get it out the catalogue and pay for it for the rest of the year. So I always got. I'd really, as many presents as anyone else. And I got this go-kart. It was a little red go-kart, and it was a pedal one. And I'd run home from school, and I'd be in it, and I'd get up and down the garden for hours. I'd have to come in for my tea, and this was fantastic. And this went on for like weeks and weeks and weeks through the summer. For the next summer, it was just, it was fantastic go-kart. I'd show off. And then one day I came home, and I went, it was always at the back of the shed, sort of up against the shed. And I went in, I couldn't see it. And so I went to the back door, my mum was sort of like washing up with that, and I went, where's my go-kart? I thought, it hasn't been nicked. She went, your dad swapped it.
Your dad swapped it?
Yeah. I went, he what? And I was going to be brave, and I went, he what? She went, he swapped it for a wheelbarrow. And I could see she didn't approve of this, and she was thinking, I'm going to tell him, and then I'm going to, have this out. And I went, right. She went, it's your wheelbarrow. And I went to the back of the shed, and there was this wheelbarrow. He swapped it with a bloke called Jimmy Dublin, who he worked with.
Jimmy Dublin?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he was a respectable member of the community.
He was fine. It was his libel. No, I think he was an Irish gentleman, and that's why he
surprised me.
That's why I don't know what his real name was. And I think my dad must have been drunk, and he went, I want to get my son a go-kart. And my dad, my kid's got one. He's probably had it for a year. He's probably bored with it.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll give you this wheelbarrow. And I went to this wheelbarrow, and it was caked in concrete. I could hardly lift it. I just nicked off a building site, obviously. And I'd be there for hours trying to push this wheelbarrow up and down the garden, right? And it was okay though, because I was going on holiday soon, and I 7 years running went to Bognor Regis, a place called Riverside, because some woman around the way had a caravan that we got free for a week, and it was great, just wonderful. And I used to go there with my mum and my nan.
Oh, party time!
Yeah, the age of 7 to sort of no, it was good because when you're a kid and you wake up in a strange place, it sort of seems weird. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning hearing your gran pissing in an iron bucket, and
We've all been there.
You get disorientated. Anyway, and I went on holiday, and I met a little friend who's about my age. We were both sort of like, right? And he'd hired a go-kart. He had this great go-kart, and he came round to my caravan, and I went, I've got a go-kart. And I remember my mum opening the window of the caravan and going, don't lie.
That's so evil.
And I went, I had a go-kart,
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to your father about the fact he swapped it?
No.
You never mentioned it to him?
No.
You still got that wheelbarrow?
I think so. I've grown into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can nearly lift it now. Yeah. And now I'm just too old to run up and down the garden with
now
it.
Now you get one of your several gardeners to use it all the time.
Sex on films and all that, right? When I was growing up, I'd be watching... No, just saying an example of this, really, right? When I was growing up as a kid and I'd be, watching films with my dad, right? He'd really be enjoying a film, right? And then a sex scene would happen.
Right.
And he'd go...
On film?
Or
just behind you?
In the film, a sex scene would happen.
Your brother up to his old tricks again.
And he'd get up and go make a cup of tea, right?
Right.
Typhoon? That he'd stolen from some sort of telephone box?
And like, even recently, he thinks it ruins a film. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no need for it to happen, is there? Really?
Yes.
Why?
Sometimes it's warranted. If the film itself is
some films it isn't though. Some films it isn't.
Of course, some films it's arbitrary.
I think the films that him and his dad watched together on Channel 5. Probably not. Is it only on Channel 5 in your house?
But let's put it, if you're watching, I don't know, a late night, Friday night,
from 1983.
Yeah. Illegal Briefs. A beautiful lawyer has to defend a man who may be a killer. She falls in love with him, but does she know the real man?
Oh dear.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
Lest you forget, of course, that I...
Love Heat. With the bloke that is now in... Go on.
Of course, that according to the Internet Movie Database, I once appeared in one of those films, in the film Killer Image, a Canadian film, I believe, from 1989. According to that computer...
it's all wrong, isn't it?
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong.
Of course it is, yeah. Apparently I was in that, and I played the role of Kirk.
Was it a porn thing?
No, I think it's just an erotic thriller.
Oh, right.
That I supposedly
You only had a very small part, though, didn't you?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't need to go that far, say like in this Jesus programme, right?
Film.
What's it called?
The Last Temptation of Christ.
Jesus, like talking. You know what? What's his name? Is it Ralph in The Simpsons?
Yes.
I drawed a kitty cat. It's like talking to that.
Yeah.
No, but right, this sensation thing, right?
Do you know, often we don't get that many complaints on this show. We don't get very many complaints. And I think that's either because there's no listeners, or B, it's because most people agree with Carl, and that
I
terrifies
know.
me.
Or they let him off because it's like, you know, you can plead insanity, you can go mental and kill a few people, but they go, oh, he's a bit backward.
No, but was it because, like, they're saying that he was having it away? Or is it because you saw it? What got the complaints?
The complaint was the very suggestion.
It was a blasphemous thing, not the fact that you saw an actor's knob.
So what about if they just cut it down a bit and you like saw the little stable door closing?
It wasn't the baby Jesus having sex. It was the grown man.
The stable door shutting.
No, but do you know
what the nativity scene?
Ah, that is brilliant. That is,
then the wise men saying, "I can't believe we brought myrrh. We should have brought condoms."
no, yeah. There's 2 for 1 offering, Boots.
Yeah, I don't know what we were thinking. With frankincense.
It's just that it's always awful.
Should we apologise now to the Christian church as well?
So
Sorry, the little Chinese fellas, little Welsh fellas, and the little Christian fellas.
We haven't said anything wrong.
No.
It's like, you see, when I was growing up...
Stable door. I love the idea that in Carl's world, he was born in a stable, just thought, well, I love this place.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay here the rest of my days.
This is good here. Oh, brilliant.
But when I was watching telly with my mum and dad, I mean, it still happens now, right? My dad will sort of go, oh, ruined. Good film ruined. Right,
Yeah.
if some sex scene happens.
But why doesn't he
But
just
what are we
ignore
talking
it?
about sex scene? Are we talking about kissing or are we talking about penetration and looking at the camera? Going,
just-
are you enjoying this, Pilkingtons? What are we talking about? What is sort of extreme levels are we talking about?
Right, last time I was down there, right?
Yeah.
What was it? Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black is a terrible film.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good film, and then you know it's going to happen because like the music comes in. Brad Pitt's keeping quiet. A woman's eyeing him up.
Sure.
So my mum, my mum's worked it out already, and she's going. Anything on the other side, love?
She knows. She knows.
It's something's.
Well, so you could be enjoying a film and you can be an hour and 10 in, and then some spidey senses of one of them can go, should we turn it over? And the other one goes, yeah, all right.
Are you sure it's not them protecting you from scenes of sex? So that what they're thinking is, what if Carl gets the idea to have sex?
Yeah.
That could lead to procreation. We don't want any more like him.
Yeah.
We've got to end the line here.
You sure it's not the doctor? Keep calling him and going, you are keeping away from
exactly.
women, aren't you?
He must never find out.
Are you
how
sure
it's
they're not
done.
embarrassed because they're watching a sex scene with their son?
It happens every time, right? There's 2 things that my mum does, right? It's that, if there's sex scene on the telly, she'll go, anything on the other side, love? And the other thing she always says, if ever there's anything on the telly with Elvis in it,
Yeah.
she goes, oh, I like him, right? And we all know, we sat there, we know what she's going to say next.
Yeah.
So you don't even bother saying why, right? And she goes, he likes fat, ugly people.
He what?
He liked fat, ugly people. He didn't always go for, like, the good-looking fans in the crowd.
What Elvis did?
Yeah.
Right.
That was always the thing, and
I'm sorry, no, hold on. I don't know what we're doing now with our lives, Steve. Right, wait a minute, right. So, your mum says 2 things, right? She either says...
Is there anything else on the other side?
Or, I like Elvis. There's a pause, because you know what she's going to say next. She says, he liked fat, ugly people. How often does this occur?
Well, because they've got, like, Sky, there's a lot of those channels on. They're like the music channels. So Elvis always comes on. There's either an Elvis film, there's, like, a classic hit by him on...
And she'll go, I like Elvis, he likes fat, ugly people. And what do you mean he liked fat, ugly people?
Is she a fat, ugly person?
Because there's that special Vegas show, isn't he, where he's dancing about, right? And he's got loads of scarves around his neck.
Towels.
Yeah. And, like, he always hands them down to the fat, ugly ones. Right. And I always say it's because they're the fat, they've got a sweaty face because they can't, you know what I mean?
I don't know what world they live in!
I don't know how we've got onto this subject.
What sort of world are you got when you're watching his face? And what do you mean fat, ugly ones? You mean they're in the front, they're sweating a lot because they're a bit chubby?
So she thinks, is giving them a towel because
But
it's like...
he's really going, wipe your face, you're putting me off, you fat cow. Stop sweating near me.
There's another one.
What?
So, hairy Chinese kids.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We haven't slagged off hairy Chinese kids. We slagged off Chinese. We didn't slag anyone off. We just said they really haven't got a town as such, and they wear shoes. What did we say?
Yeah, little wooden shoes.
And what the
I just don't know how we got onto Elvis and big fat ugly women. I don't know I don't know how we sidestepped from the Last Temptation of Christ.
Did you see that Fat Girls and Feeders
Go on a
programme?
minute.
Eh?
What's Tom Petty first?
Oh, brilliant. It's a great song. Breakdown.
How many
Tom
other
Petty.
radio shows have talked about Last Temptation of Christ, Chinatown,
Yeah.
fat ugly women?
More
Yeah.
than 60 minutes.
Exactly.
How did you meet your girlfriend?
Through work.
What, through her work? What, you phoned up and said
We
you...
worked at the same place.
Oh, you're right.
You're quite an enigma, aren't you? Could you give us more on that?
At work, you met her at work. What, she came in selling sandwiches? She was going through the bins outside. What do you mean you met her
Why
at
are you
work?
having an attack on me? You're the
not
one
having an
who's
attack
sad and lonely.
Oh, he's done you again. He's done you
Yeah, but what
again.
I thought was interesting was I
No.
just scratched at him and he just went mental.
Yeah, no,
It's like a
but
bear caught in a trap.
it's funny, isn't it? You'll never learn.
No, I was just interested to find out what the story was, because it might be a really romantic story.
Well, it's not.
All right, jeez. I love the fact he
I
doesn't
was
want to talk
thinking
about
you-
his love affair.
I was thinking about you in the week, and like, does it worry you? I mean, you sort of joke about it now, and we're talking about it in the office, you know, like, oh, is Steve really touchy about the way he looks? And
Oh, what's this? Where's that come from?
He's done it again. He's done you again.
I was walking home the other night, and I was thinking about it. And do you worry that when you're old, you will be on your own?
You did start it though, didn't you?
Well, Carl, I'm glad you brought this up. because I mean, for me, you know, a lightweight, frothy entertainment show on XFM on a Saturday afternoon is exactly the place where I want to discuss the desperate, lonely future that's inevitably coming my way.
Oh God.
Just animal facts. I remembered one in the week.
Go on.
There was, do you know them two gay American men who have tigers?
Well, they're not necessarily gay.
They're not.
are they?
No one actually knows if they are gay or not.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
okay.
Gilbert and George, is it? No, that's those artists. What are
Yeah.
they called? Siegfried and Roy.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Who may or may not be gay.
Yeah. And if they are, so what?
And if they are, so what? But if they're not, and they
no,
don't.
I just said that so you knew who I was talking about. 'Cause
Sure.
Okay, the two gay ones.
Those
Yeah,
are
go
the
on.
Two possibly gay guys.
Yeah, let's not worry about libel law anymore. Then, or yeah,
if you
go on.
shave a tiger's head,
Whoa. Right, okay. You've got to treat that sentence with a lot more reverence than you did. Think what you're saying. If you shave a tiger's head.
not just its head, its whole body. If
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
So I thought you were getting weird. Go on then. Yeah, if you shave a tiger, yeah, go on.
it's still stripy underneath. The
Yeah.
skin's.
Is it like rock?
It goes all,
Is it
the,
like
way
all the way
through.
through?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing.
Where did you hear that one?
I remembered that. Like, I was
Was
watching.
that a drunk just shouting it in the street?
I shaved a tiger and it's still striping. Get out of here. Yeah.
I must make a note of that, things, Carl.
Yeah, that's an interesting fact. Well, you know a polar bear? Polar bear's skin is actually black, and its fur is transparent, not white, and it gives the illusion. So it gets all the radiation possible from the sun, but it's still camouflaged.
I didn't understand that, Rick. Sorry, you lost me. If its skin's black,
a polar
and
bear's
its
skin is
and
black.
its fur is translucent,
And its fur is translucent.
so why is it white when we see
Well,
it?
it's just because the light hits it, and
The sun reflects off it?
yeah, and it makes it look white. Yeah, if you look at each individual hair, it's actually translucent.
So at
there,
night
hair.
it would be black.
Well, everything is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, not bright stuff, Rick. You've embarrassed yourself. Play a record. Oh, I know all about animals and stuff. Do you, Rick?
I remember. I was on a. I don't know if this is all right to talk about. I mean, it happened, so you know, not worrying
It's all
about
right
it.
to talk about. Everything's all right to
I
talk
was,
about.
But I was on the train, right, coming from Manchester back to London, right?
Yeah.
And got on it. It was like a Friday night, and it was heaving, you know, like the last train is and all that, and absolutely chocker. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking through the carriages, thinking, oh, is there any seats anyway? Anyway, everyone's like, it's heaving, right? It's people stood up in the doorways. You can't get in the toilet and all that. There's not going to be any chair knocking about. You know, so walking through, and anyway, I see this one empty chair sort of in front of me, right? I think, oh, why ain't anyone sat there, right? I'll just rush to that, get to that, get myself a seat, plonk myself down, right, and sort of turn round, you know, see who I'm facing, you know, see who you're sort of having a chat with. Little fella there, right? Little, well, Down syndrome kid,
Right.
sat there, and he goes, alright, and I thought, oh, right, not bad, but do you know what I mean? They're always talking, aren't they? You can ask a lot of questions, right? So I was like, oh, here we go, 2.5 hours, and I couldn't get up because the thing is, that's obvious.
Sure.
Right? So that's like mean. I never want to be mean, do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So anyway, so I think I know, I'll go to sleep.
Clever.
Right, so I shut my eyes, and he leaves me alone and that. So then, my phone goes, and I think, right, what do I do? Do I ignore it? Or do I open my eyes and see what it is? Anyway, I open my eyes, it's Ricky calling about something. About nothing, probably, actually thinking about it. Wasn't even worth answering, right? So anyway, but I'm awake now, aren't I? So he's like, hello? And I'm like, alright, mate. And he says, you're muscly.
Oh God!
And I said, yeah. And he goes, you know, why? So I said, no, just am. It's, again, stressing me out, because I'm thinking, why am I muscly? I don't go to the gym. And, you know, I mean, I'm not muscly, I'm in good shape and that.
Well.
So then, he wants an arm wrestle. On a crammed train from Manchester, so I've got another hour and a half of this.
Oh, well, if you talked back, he'd soon have got up and left. If you'd have started asking him questions, he'd have got up and left with the drivel you come out with.
So anyway, do you know when you're under pressure, you're thinking, well, he's said that I'm muscly, right, so do I do it or not? And there's people watching, you know, not joining in, not sort of having a laugh and that with me, just like watching but pretending they're not.
Oh,
and I'm
God.
at one of those table seats, and he kept saying, come on, I want to arm wrestle. So, and it was getting loud, and I thought, oh, I best just have an arm wrestle.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I best just have an arm wrestle. What do you mean?
Get it over and done with. I had to. If he's going to keep asking, I had another hour and a half on the train.
Oh God.
So anyway.
Oh my God. I'm thinking who won.
Well, I'm thinking, were people putting bets on? How was it working?
It was stopped, and just as well, really.
What do you mean it was stopped?
Was it game?
No, he was winning, I was struggling a bit, right? Yeah. And he was really, like, you know, taking my arm down, and then he sort of let go and started laughing. And I thought, thank God he let go, because I would have made, you know what I mean? If I lost that, everyone's in the train looking, and all the rest of it.
It's suddenly serious to him, he's got to win this.
Anyway,
Pilkington.
But then he just, then we were chatting about favourite food and that. He liked sausages. And I said, you know, he said, do you like sausages? I said, yeah, they're alright. I like a bit of Chinese and that as well. And he was saying, oh, I can't have Chinese. Not allowed Chinese.
Why?
Dunno, he just said, it's not allowed to have it. But yeah, I had a good long chat about stuff and that, but...
So you enjoyed it in the end?
In the end, it was alright, yeah. It's just...
What do you okay.
No, but it's that thing, innit? It's whenever you're faced with something different, it's always awkward, isn't it? And that's the thing.
You're talking about him now, are you?
And I think I did alright, because everyone else was ignoring him. But I probably made his day pretty good.
Yeah. We were a nice bloke.
I like the idea that newlywed couple are probably thinking that's going to be a similar journey down to Cornwall.